Hey guys, it's Phoebe from Who's Phoebe and welcome back to another Doctor Who video. Sorry that it's gone dark outside. I should have filmed this video earlier but I kind of got distracted with my brother and his girlfriend here. So yeah, apologies for the late video for you guys. But today's video is my review on Power of the Daleks. I do have notes written about the story. Now whatever score I give this, guys, don't worry, it's just my personal score. I've got nothing against anyone, nothing against the story itself. It's just this is my personal review on the Power of the Daleks. Now I've got notes because I kept jotting down notes. Also, if you've never seen my thing, Michael, shut up!
Oi, I was singing as
Your
well.
mother's singing.
I'm filming.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry about that. If you've never seen my face on your screen before, make sure you click that subscribe down below, and also click notifications bell if you get notifications every single time I upload. I apologise for the background noise, they weren't aware. So, without further ado, let's get on with the video, and here is my review on the Power of the Daleks. So, it's a bit slow in the first part, so it's actually an important episode in Doctor Who history, because it's obviously the second Doctor's first kind of venture out on Vulcan. It's funny the TARDIS lands here, it seems innocent at first, and so on. You know, it seems innocent at first. The Doctor poses as an Earth Examiner, so the actual Earth Examiner in the story gets killed, and the Doctor sees his badge which says Vulcan Earth Examiner, and he uses this as a way to get into the place, because they don't know, the people there, they aren't aware that the real Earth Examiner has been killed. So the Doctor picks a badge up and it reads Vulcan Earth Examiner, which means this scientist has come all the way from Earth and has been assigned to go on to Vulcan to examine the planet, if you so wish. I'm not actually sure what an Earth Examiner does, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. And Vulcan seems innocent, the Doctor being the Doctor, that's a phrase coming in a lot, is obviously intrigued by this and he wants to explore, which is natural. Ben and Polly, however, still don't think after the Doctor's regenerated he is the Doctor. Like, they just think he's some sort of imposter, because he said in the 10th Planet, and I will be using a lot of the 10th Planet's references in this review, he said that his old body was wearing thin. Now, they weren't aware what that means, but to viewers who watch Doctor Who, we all know what the first Doctor meant by that. I mean, this story was written by David Whittaker, so yeah, but he says the body of his is wearing thin and he regenerates into the second Doctor. He grabs a mirror and has a look. The Daleks being bundled up in cobwebs. Now this was interesting for me because the Doctor kind of goes into this little shed thing. He sees two Daleks and they're dead. They're dead. Like, they're not working and they're not going to pose any danger, you'd think. And they're just bundled up in cobwebs. There's nothing weird about that. Like, these Daleks have obviously been put in storage and away, and obviously one of the scientists there obviously in league with the Daleks, so the fact that they're there doesn't raise suspicion because they're dead. So obviously they're doing experiments on it to see how these Daleks work, to see what they do, which is fine. The Daleks are unalive. So yeah, the Daleks are unalive. Like I said, they're bundled in cobwebs. Whatever the inside is, I think it's like a little, I don't actually know how to describe the inside. But yeah, whatever it is inside the Dalek, it's gone. It's dead, virtually. So whatever the inside of a Dalek has in it, I'm not exactly sure what to describe it as, but yeah, so the inside of a Dalek is non-existent, apart from the one that you see at the end of the cliffhanger of the first episode, and Polly screams. It kind of slithers across the floor, and that's when the Doctor knows that these Daleks are coming alive. These Daleks are coming alive and whatnot. forgettable side cast. Now this is what I hated about the episode. We had a wonderful cast. We had the Doctor, Ben, Polly, Patrick Troughton and stuff like that. Memorable companions to remember, but the side cast was a little bit forgettable. I forgot half their names and I was bored to death with them. They had the same plot, which was use the Daleks to infest the colony or whatnot. So, you know, also what disappointed me about this episode, about this particular story, is that Ben and Polly didn't get to do a lot. And I have got it written down in my notes. Ben and Polly don't get to do a lot. Lesterson is an annoying character. He does not add anything to the story at all. He's just an annoying character who is experimenting on the Daleks. And it's just a bit like, what's his purpose? Why is he doing this? He gets on your nerves after a little bit. He is also in league with the Daleks as well, so that does not help his character, because he's in league with the Daleks, or at least you think until the end, and then it's like, what the hell? But he's in league with the Daleks and it doesn't make him look good. It makes his character look like the bad guy. Also, bugging devices in the fruit. Since when did Daleks have to stoop this low to know what the Doctor is talking about, or to know what he's talking about with his friends? They put a bugging device in a fruit, and the Doctor kind of had a suspicion about it, so he used a knife and cut it in half and smashed the bugging device. But that's what I found interesting. That was the only interesting bit of that actual dialogue. Speaking of dialogue, the dialogue in it has no reference to the story whatsoever. There's just boring bits of dialogue throughout the entirety of the story. Like the Doctor, Ben and Polly's dialogue, that's fun, that's relevant to the story, that's absolutely 100% fine as it is. But then you've got boring dialogue between the governor and his people, and it's just like, what the hell's going on here? Like, that is not interesting dialogue. It doesn't make good watching either. Janie is also in league with the Daleks, so Lenderson's minions are all in league with the Daleks. They all want to take over the colony with the Daleks to destroy the humans. That was interesting, I will admit. I will admit that was not boring, but the dialogue was a bit slow and it was really hard to keep up with, and it's not exactly one of the things you want to do. Quinn turns out to be the one who killed the Examiner. He literally comes out and admits it, that he killed the Examiner, the dead body that the Doctor found outside, because the Examiner saw the Doctor outside and was actually coming to say hello to the Doctor and invite him and ask him what the hell was going on. So the fact that Quinn kills the Examiner does not look good. It just makes his character look more like the bad guy, and it makes him look like he's in league with the Daleks. In actual fact, he's not, but his character is completely irrelevant in the story. Lots of dialogue in part 3, no dialogue related to the story. That's what I found irritating. There was lots of dialogue in episode 3 of The Power of the Daleks, but it wasn't good dialogue. It was just useless dialogues that obviously the writers had to do to fill in time. Like, the Daleks were there, but it wasn't exactly that great dialogue. It was just useless dialogue that no one would have really understood. They also quiz a Dalek. What the hell? This bit got on my nerves so much during the story. They literally, one of the minions, I'm just going to call them minions because they are such a cool name. They end up just sat there in their laboratory quizzing a Dalek. Like, what the actual hell? It's not that it annoyed me, it's just, why quiz a Dalek? The Daleks know all the workings of the universe, they even know the Doctor, and when they see the Doctor, naturally they're a bit curious and they know that he's regenerated. So, yeah, quizzing a Dalek, not ideal. Polly is taken prisoner. That was literally the only bit that I liked, that Polly was taken prisoner, because you'd think she'd have loads to do. I was so wrong. There's also a Doctor Who Easter egg. Now, it's only for a split second, but the Dalek's up against this screen, and underneath that screen says Magpie Electrics. Now, as you know, Magpie Electrics is like a Doctor Who gag. because obviously the 10th Doctor later in the Idiot Lanterns come across Magpie Electric's TVs, radios, phones, you name it. And the fact that you can spot this in such an early Doctor Who episode that says Magpie Electrics on it, it's just so funny. You have to like really watch it carefully, you have to like really pay attention because it's only there for a split second, but it's there. Next time, if any of you rewatch The Power of the Daleks, make sure you spot for that Doctor Who Easter egg just there. Disarming the Daleks does not make them any less dangerous. That's what I found annoying. The scientists kept disarming the Daleks and it does not make them any less dangerous. If you disarm the gun, yes, technically they can't shoot you, but don't they realise they've got those suckers and they can actually suck people's faces? I know that sounds grim, but that was in Doomsday where they actually use that to kill someone, so they can use their toilet plungers to kill someone if they have to. The story reminds me too much of Victory of the Daleks. This is very true. I know Power of the Daleks came first before Victory of the Daleks, because Victory of the Daleks is a New Who, but this story reminds me too much of Victory of the Daleks. Like these Vulcan people not knowing what they are and just using them for their own good. Like, what the hell? It reminds me too much of Victory of the Daleks, although it does have some good elements. The dialogue in this story is a bit loose. The Doctor and Ben, things they say are helpful, but the rest of the dialogue is just, you don't understand it. It was a Dalek factory. The Daleks were remaking themselves, and it was just basically a massive Dalek factory. The only thing Polly does is to get to be a Dalek prisoner. Yes, Polly in this particular story was completely useless. The only thing she gets to do is be a Dalek prisoner, and that was about it. Is the story worth watching? No, because of how slow the beginning and middle are. Yeah. Parts 1 were slow and part 3 is slow and part 5 is really slow. You don't get to the main plot until like episode 6, and I mean they kill the governor in episode 5, but still it's very slow towards the end. The Daleks want to take over the whole colony for themselves and kill every human on board. I pretty much got that. So I would give this story a 6 out of 10. It's nothing personal, it's just I enjoyed this story. It was an enjoyable story, but it's not one of those ones I'm going to watch again. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up if you did, and make sure you click the big subscribe button down below, and make sure you click the notifications bell so you get notifications every single time I upload. Alonzi, or as the 5th Doctor would say, as the 2nd Doctor would say, oh my giddy aunt.